I just recorded and it stopped. And I didn't notice. And I did half the song. Anyway. Lord, please take me home. Oh Lord, please take me home. The stage is set. Lord, you know I'm tired. It's been a long time in this world full of lions. Oh Lord, please take me home. Oh Lord, please take me home. Lord, save my soul, even though I've denied it. The word of God no longer has me compliant. So Lord, please take me home. Oh Lord, please take me home. Lord, send your angels now. Send the devil on his way. Lord, send your angels now. Send the devil on his way. Lord, send your angels now. Send the devil on his way. Lord, please take me home. Oh Lord, please take me home. The stage is set. Lord, you know I'm tired. It's been a long time in this world full of liars. Oh Lord, please take me home. So Lord, please take me home. Lord, save my soul, even though I've denied it. The word of God no longer has me compliant. Oh Lord, please take me home. Oh Lord, please take me home. Lord, send your angels now. Send the devil on his way. Lord, send your angels now. Send the devil on his way. Lord, send your angels now. Send the devil on his way. I think I did it. I wanted to talk real quick. First of all, it's wearing off, but I painted my nails for October. Those of you know I do that once in a while. But anyway, somebody gave me this guitar. Just straight up bought it for me. Can you believe it? I put an ad on Craigslist. My friend had his guitar stolen, and he's the person who gave me that other guitar, the cutaway guitar. I had a cutaway here, and it was actually an Esteban guitar from those crappy commercials. I almost said the SH word. But, it did its job, but his guitar got stolen. So I gave him that guitar that I had once I got this. But I put an ad on Craigslist just explaining the situation and saying that we had a guitar stolen and we needed a new one, and I was looking for a beater guitar, something that nobody wanted anymore. And some random woman, and I forget her name right now, well, forgive me, but she didn't even live in the town I was in. She just randomly texted me and said, go to the music store in Salem and I got you. I was like, what? So I had a friend pick it up, and this is a Yamaha, you can see the symbol there, classic nylon string, which I didn't even tell her that I preferred nylon. It just happened to be what she bought me. And I like these classical nylon strings because there's more space in between each string, so my little fat sausage fingers can hit the chords a little better. And it's nylon, so I have carpal tunnel syndrome from playing most of my life, so that alleviates that. It's easier to press down. But I just can't believe it. I needed to mention it, and I'm going to have to try to look up her name. I can't remember. But anyway, I mean, that's how God works. That's just how I look at it. I mean, she had no clue what my preference was, and she just ended up getting me the perfect guitar for me. And I was able to re-gift the guitar that my friend gave me back to him. So, which was a steel string guitar anyway. So, I had nylon strings on it just because, I can't press down too hard anymore, or it hurts this hurts my hand too. I wake up with numb hands after performing in the street all day. But, I've started busking a lot and making my money that way to get by. And this has helped me a lot. So thank you. But you can tell. Let's see if I could get the angle right. There's a lot of wear on the fretboard already. That's how much I've been playing it. I mean, I just love this thing. It's beautiful because it's more compact. It's not as big as the other guitar. It's a little thinner, and it still rings out loud enough to perform where I need to, and it's just the perfect guitar for me. Right now, I wanted to update the channel a little bit because it's been months since I've posted anything. I just posted a video last night, but it was months ago that I recorded all that, about my friend Saint, who took his own life. And I played that little ditty on a harmonica. I don't know why I was so out of breath that day, but it was hot out. It was like 100 degrees that day, so that's probably has something to do with it. But I'm now back in Newport, and it's a little better for busking here. There's more tourists. It's a touristy area, so I just play outside of like the drive-thrus here or on the bay. And I've been able to make enough money for me. And I'm working on saving a little money and getting myself in a little bit of a better position. So hopefully maybe I could get a van or something. And I might not. I may or may not. I know that's been my plan for a while, but I've been trying to work a way to come up with the money to do something like that. But, I applied for a job at the church in Salem that was helping homeless people, and I didn't end up getting the job. To make a long story short, there was a whole lot of things going down there. That's another reason why I didn't post many videos. I just was not feeling it, because just the things I saw there with the way that the homeless people are getting treated and used. And, a lot of people are using homeless people in their situation to make their careers. And it's just not right. Like, it would be right if they were doing the right things, but they basically just spit on homeless people, kick us around. They don't advocate for homeless people like they claim that they're there. Like, I don't know what they're there to do other than to make a paycheck. So, I'm not trying to spit hate, but that's why I didn't post anything. I was just not feeling positive about what was going on there, and I was trying to fit myself into that community and to try to be part of the positive things that I did see there. And they ended up just not, like, I'm not going to go through it all, but I applied for a job, and I was like told I was a shoo-in. They made it seem like I was going to get the job. They had me wait like 2+ months to hear back an interview. I did the interview, and I thought I was getting a certain job, and they had me go for a little training, and it ended up being a completely different job than the one I applied for, which would have been fine. I would have worked that job. But traditionally, in my experience, when you are interviewing somebody and they applied for a certain job, at that point, that's when you tell them, look, we know you applied for this job, but we have you in mind for this. And they didn't do that at all. They had me think, and they talked to me about the other job that I applied for. And then all of a sudden, on the day I was supposed to start, well, not even start, it was like an unpaid training day. I show up, and they're like, oh yeah, you're going to be, basically, I'm going to be like a secretary. It's not even a receptionist. And that is not what I applied for. Like I said, I don't think I'm above that type of job, but that's just it's just not what I applied for. Like that was my main gripe. So I told them, I'm like, look, I'll do this job, but I applied for this job and I expect to work up to that. And then they're like, okay, well, we'll call you. We'll do the background checks for the other job that we need to do. Because, I was trying to do security, which is what I think I'm more suited to personally. So basically, they gave me a runaround. They said they were going to do my background check and get back to me, and that I could start doing the other reception job. And they never got back to me. They never gave me an explanation. And that's normal. When you apply for a job and you don't get the job, you're not owed an explanation. They just don't call you. But, this place is a little different. It's a church that works with the homeless community, and I'm there at that church every day, and I saw the faces of the people that I did the interviews with, and after that point, they just stopped looking at me, stopped talking to me, and didn't give me any, like, you would think they would at least be like, oh, look, we're working on it, or it didn't work out because of XYZ. And they basically just wasted like 2 months of my time from the end of the summer into the fall. And I was feeling a bad way about it, and I got over it. I don't blame them. I know that church, they do a lot of good things, and they've helped me, and they've helped a lot of homeless people in the town of Salem, but they're just working within the confines that they know. That's the best way I could put it. Like, people like myself, we're not, I don't care about the local city rules, or who's top dog in the city, and who plays golf with who, and what the head pastors and all that, what they're up to. I don't know if you know what I'm getting at, but that's the kind of situation that was going on there. It's, they're a business, they're a church, and they're not, they're a classic church, or not classic, I should say. They're a new church. They're what churches are, which are businesses above all. And they were putting that above, helping their fellow man, in my opinion. So I'm sure they would argue differently, but they're not really looking out. They're using the homeless people, and most of the homeless people are addicts, and it's a shame, because if we weren't, then we could organize ourselves, and wouldn't have to depend on a place like this church, or any of these day centers and places that, they throw you a meal that gives you diarrhea once or twice a week, and they might give you a tent or something you need, or help you get like your license back if you want to do that, and you want to put the effort into getting yourself back on track. But they don't do anything else. They just oh my gosh, it's hard to explain. I'm not even going to cut it. It's just, This is why I didn't post any videos about it, because I can't even put into words my feelings about the whole thing. But like I said, I don't blame the church. They're working within the system they know, and I'm just so far removed from that system, and I guess that's why I didn't get the job, because they know that. They know that I'm not gonna comply. If there's something that my convictions tell me is wrong, I'm gonna speak up about it, and I'm not gonna comply with it. And that's not what they want. They want people that are just gonna shut up and get their paycheck and let them do whatever they're doing with the city. And since I left Salem because the city is conspiring against homeless people. They were kicking us around. None of us could find a campsite. They closed down the park to us, which they allowed homeless people to stay in to begin with because of COVID. And now, even though the pandemic's not over, they kicked all the homeless people out of the park, and there was just nowhere to go in Salem without being totally illegal. I mean, everywhere you camp is illegal when you do this, when you have to live this way. So we got Ode out here, just kicked us out of our campsite, and they arrested Guitar Matt.
What?
Yeah, he's under arrest. There he is on the hill talking to the officers. They brought state troopers. I guess this land has to do with the state. But we couldn't save any of Matt's stuff. His stuff was too scattered and not packed up. The what? Go ahead if you want. Look at what these animals did. They left a bunch of stuff. First of all, they didn't even clean the site up. But they tore up all of the vegetation in this area and then piled it up where the guy's tent was. I guess to try to avoid him staying there again. But they say that we're a danger to the ecology of our environment. But then they pull something like this and destroy at least 5 to 10 trees and shrubs and bushes that didn't need to be destroyed at all. I just figured I'd make that point. But, as long as you stay out of the way, you should be okay. But even the out of the way places were no good. And, the Department of Transportation was kicking us around, and the city was kicking us around. And even the church was like turning their backs to people when they needed them the most a lot of times. So all of that created a lot of negativity, and it got into my head as well. And so I knew I had to break out of it, but I was holding on because there's a lot of people that I care about that I met there over the past year, and that I know that they deserve better. And I was trying to fight as much as I could, being just me, to make it known that, hey, this is not right. Like, there's a disconnect between the people you're trying or claiming to help and you need to bridge that gap. And they said, yeah, we need to bridge that gap. But they were only removing themselves further and further away and making that gap even greater. And now it's horrible. I talked to some of the people that are in that town still, and they don't know what to do with themselves. Even people that have jobs, and, even with the job, you can't, unless you already had a place. Like, if you messed up once you've fallen from grace in the eyes of the system, it's 20 times harder, 50 times harder to get back up. And I don't want to get back to where I was. Like, I don't necessarily want an apartment. I don't necessarily like living in a little tent either. It has its ups and downs. Yeah, it's cheap. It's easier for me to live, and I'm used to it. But, it's not right that you can't, even if you had a full-time job, even with the new wage hikes, it's just not possible to have your own place. Like, having roommates is not good once you're past a certain age. Like, when you're in your 20s, yeah, you can have roommates, you have fun, then you realize that there's always these little problems that arise with roommates and stuff. And eventually you just want to have your own space. Everybody deserves their own space that they can make theirs, have peace and quiet when they want it. not have to deal with people intruding in that space. And that's just not possible anymore unless you had it already, or you're getting some sort of help, or you have a very, very good job. You know, that's just my experience. Maybe I'm wrong. People say, oh, you just got to work hard. And yeah, I mean, there's people that work hard. People that keep a job aren't people that work hard, usually. I mean, there's a lot of hardworking people that keep their jobs, but I mean, my experience in the working world is for every hard worker, there's 10 loafers that are getting by off that person's hard work, and they get away with it. I don't understand, and that's why I can't even. I think about getting a normal job now, and I just can't do it. Like, I mean, I could do it. It's hard to explain too. I don't want to come off like I'm above all this or anything. I'm just saying that I can't deal with like those politics that happen in the workplace. I've been through that a lot. And then when you were the person that is ready, willing, and able to do the hard work, then everybody that's not willing to do their share of that hard work is just going to push it right on top of your head. And that has been my experience, and I got so sick of it. And many other reasons why I left the working world too. But that's one main one. So anyway, I'm rambling. I hope you guys enjoyed the song. And I hope you keep up with me. I'll be putting out more videos in the future, and trying to carry on with what I'm doing here and bring you guys along for the journey. So stay free. I just wanted to, I'm recording this after the fact, but I wanted to elaborate a little more on what the situation that was going down with the church and the city. So the city more and more was clamping down and making camping illegal. But at the same time, the church was opening up what they call pallet homes, or these little tiny houses that are no bigger than, a medium-sized shed that you could buy at Lowe's. But apparently they were paying like $5,000+ a piece for them. But that's besides the point. They're overpriced little houses, and that's their solution for homelessness in that town. They're planning to put everybody in those houses. They're trying to open up multiple sites that are, controlled with security, and they're basically fenced in. And I mean, they're basically detention centers, and they're getting support from the city to open these places, obviously because they're promising to keep us in check. They're promising to keep us off the streets and under lock and key, basically. Like, those sites you won't be able to leave when you want. And not only that, I mean, it's a little shed, and they're going to stick you in there with a roommate. And, if it's a good friend, even if you're stuck in there with a good friend, you're not going to be friends for long, because there's going to be little problems in a little tiny space like that. So, I feel that it's somewhat of a conspiracy. The church and the city are working together to make this happen. And it's under the guise of helping the homeless, but really they're just trying to get us off the streets and into basically, I mean, detention centers, FEMA style camps. And that way, people don't have to look at us. That's basically the way I see it. So, you can't expect two people, even a couple, is going to have fights and problems in such a small space. It's only like, it's like a 7x10, or it's a very small shed like building. Plus, added on to that, all the rules. You can't do anything. I don't think you could even really cook in your little house. Like, I'm not sure about that. But they want to control everything about, the lives of these people. And then they're acting like, oh, what's the problem? So, I mean, the way I see it, that it's no coincidence that they're getting ready to open up these camps. And at the same time, the city is cracking down on us camping. So they're trying to create desperation so that they can fill those spots quick. And this is not fact. It's just my opinion. But that's what I saw going on there. And it's still in the works. They're planning on opening up multiple sites like this. and it's just spelling bad news as far as I can see. It's not, I don't see much good coming out of it. I mean, the people can make good out of it, but they're going to be so disenfranchised by what's going on around them that they're not going to be able to. It's going to be a crap show, as I'd like to use another word, but, and maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't see it working out well. And, obviously there's a lot of grant money and a lot of money coming in to make this happen. And there places like the church and whoever else is working with them are collecting that money. And at the same time, they're giving less and less out. And like people can hardly get a tent from this church right now because they claim they're short staffed, even though they've hired people. And I was going to be one of those people that they hired. But they're short staffed and they have no money. But, it's on record that they've received millions to make this happen. So that's all part of the negativity that I was feeling there. And I didn't want to have any part of it. It's a blessing that I didn't get the job. That's why I got over it, like I said, after thinking about it thoroughly and deciding that this is probably how it's going to play out. It's not something I want to be a part of anyway. And I probably wouldn't have lasted long seeing that happen